another Dragon Ball Super Card Game video. This one is going to be one of 3 decks I'll be doing for the rest of the week. They're all based on the starter decks, and basically these are catered towards anyone who wants to get into the archetype for cheap, which in this case is going to be $60 or under $60 or around that with all the buyouts going on. I can't guarantee, I'll let you know now actually, I can't guarantee they're going to be under $60 by the time this video comes out. One card could be $1 one day and the next day it could be about $5, so I apologize, but it should be around that price range. And this is also directed to people who are now just going into the game, so definitely subscribe if you want to see all of the other decks I'll be doing for the rest of the video, and as well as share the video if you got a person coming in and just wanting to play the game. Today we're going to be going through Vegito. This one is going to be starter deck Vegito, and he's actually pretty cool. I really do admire the design of this guy, the leader, all the cards that come with the starter deck, which in this deck profile is going to be a little bit different from the other two, because the other two has a really strong core and this one is okay. You know, all the starter exclusives are kind of okay, and we kind of abuse different things here and there. And of course, at the end of this video and the beginning of this video, you can go ahead and look in the description. It's going to have the list for this list, yeah, and the gameplay at the end of this video as well, so definitely go ahead and follow along with that. And as we go into this, we have the leader, which on the unawakened side he swings and you draw a card. It's really good that it's just not leader cards. It can be any card. And basically on this auto, during your opponent's turn, when you have one of your unison cards placed in the drop area, as in loses all their markers and placed in the drop area, or one of your battle cards is removed from that battle area by a skill or KO'd, you may flip this card over, basically awakening, and draw 2. Now if you're 4 or less, you just draw 1 and untap 1. The leader, however, on the awakened side, you do draw 1 when you attack, and the activate battle for this one is that you choose one of your blue unison cards. It gains 10k power and triple strike for the duration of the battle. The cool thing about this is that it's not once per turn, so as long as you have energy to use, or blue energy to use, which in this case we're using blue-green, and as well as Sensu Bean, which both of those is going to help with a lot of different things, but in this case you get to tap 2 blue, and if you have another energy, you use a bean on the same thing, tap blue again. Now you have a 20k boost from that 4 energy basically, plus the beam, which I guess is 25. And the auto on this one is that during your opponent's turn, same thing. If a unison card or a blue battle card is KO'd or removed, it gets you get to untap 1 mono blue energy, not multicolor energy, but we'll get around to that, to active mode and draw 1 card. So on the front side, you get to awaken as soon as you get to KO something, or your blue unison gets to KO something. So that kind of tells you what to mulligan when we take a look at the cards. And the other side of it is that you get to go for game, which is pretty much your boss monster, or at least your game ender, your win con, which is going to be the blue unison. And now I will also say that between all 3 leaders for the starter decks, at the lower range, and maybe even at the highest level, I think this is actually the weakest leader, or at least the weakest archetype, as far as, like, you know, you're doing everything under 60. It's going to be the weakest one. It's not to say it's not good. This is more control and maybe even hand control basis, and you know, different strokes for different blokes. And when we're looking at the Vegito Core, we have the 1-drop Vegeta, in which you take a life after it swings, and it gains 10k and double strike. So you can basically take them 5 to 3. You can do damage. You can try to take for game if they only have 2 life, and with 1 energy, that's going to be quite a lot. Plus the Gogeta unison here, in which the permanent says that if you have a blue Saiyan leader card and you have a blue battle card, Saiyan battle card, in rest mode, you don't take damage from attacks, right? And we'll kind of get back to that. But the activate main for this one is that you tap your leader card or a battle card in your battle area to rest mode. You add a marker to the card for free. So you basically +1. You know, when you got this guy over here, not only you get to use the permanent effect after you try to awaken or take more cards from your life, but also you get to have the opportunity to go ahead and add a marker, because you're really not going to be swinging with this guy unless you really need to, or if you're awakened already. Like if you're awakened and you don't need cards from your life, there's no point to use this card. So it's going to be the best option for this, other than the couple other tech options that we have. But the activate main is that you pay 2, and so if you you can use this as quick removal. You pay 2 energy, and then you remove 2 markers, you draw a card, and then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and it costs greater than their current energy. It's not equal or greater. You have to remember that. It's only greater than their energy, which is kind of a bummer, but is really useful to get rid of big, beefy threats, basically. Ignoring barrier and placing a draw bottom of the owner's deck. The cool thing about this is that if you have really no other play, you can go ahead and just remove 2 markers and then draw a card, right? I think out of all the unisons that come with these starter decks, this is probably one of the harder ones to kind of build around and play with, simply because it requires a lot of things from you in order to be effective. So when we're looking at other unisons like Zeno and as well as Gotenks, which I think they're really the only other 2, right? I think I'm missing one, but those are the ones that come to mind. Zeno's cool, but is sort of susceptible to the 9Ks, but you get a lot of markers pretty quickly throughout the game. Plus you get to ramp and you get to use that extra energy, which is pretty cool. But the other thing is that for Gotenks, it is cool, like it's really good for this deck, but I would probably add like 1 or 2 of if you are going to be adding that unison, simply because it is a 4-drop, and yes, you do get to use the blocker effect with the leader, and yes, it is a 20k, so it's harder to get rid of versus this 15k and the 9k from the Zeno. But this is a really good one because it really kind of caters to all the other cards that we have in the deck, including this Trunks, in which the auto says if your lead card is a blue Saiyan card, and when you use the combo, you pay 1 energy, and you have a 2 or less blue Saiyan card in your hand, negate the skills for the racing turn in place of rest mode. Now, if you look at the multicolors, we do have the 2-cost Kaioken Son Goku. So shout out to Eggman. If you want to have a non-budget version of this deck, definitely check out the link in the description below or in the comments, but depending on where I put it. But the cool thing about this is that this guy has Revive, in which you pitch a multicolor blue-green, and then it comes back afterwards with the skills negated, basically. And the auto says any battle card 6 or less, you get to negate it and then KO this card. The interesting part about this is that the leader card effect will proc off no matter what. So if they remove it, that's cool, but you can use this as a negate, get it back, and then just have fun with that. Like, there you go, and you still have a blue Saiyan on board. It's in active mode, that's okay. The next turn, you either have a card to tap down with the unison, or you have a swing right after that for 15k. I will say, by the way, that this is if you look at the logs, me and Darwin Hernandez was talking about this quite a while back, and I just never got around to this. So Eggman, you stole my idea. I remember you talked to me about it. You literally said, I'll steal this for my deck. Either way, it's fine. We do have the Android 18 Bionic Blitz. The reason why I picked this one over the regular Super Combo is not only because it has an extra blue-green into the deck, but also because it kind of plays through the hand control and control basis of the deck in the first place. Not only you have a free 10k for the Supreme Technique Goku, but also you're probably not going to be at 4 or less when you do awaken anyway. So you're going to be taking life from Dimension Magic and as well as the 1-drop Vegeta, but when you don't and you want to defend, Android 18 is going to be there to neg them and as well as protect your life or the unison or battle card, etc. Right? Well, can't protect the unison, but you can use that with the unison on offense. So again, going back, for those who are new, you really want to have this on the board pretty quickly. Even if they remove it, you get to awaken or at least untap and draw one. You use this one for not only this target, but also one of our tech targets, which is going to be the energy absorber on their turn. So that way you do get both of those effects and as well as an extra 15k swing for both of them. So both give you a body and both give you options to actually use those things, right? And we also have the 3-drop Piccolo and Gohan. The reason why I picked this, and I want to preface in which you don't see check lands, as in the Android 17, in which you have a blue-green in your energy, you place that one, it's going to be in active mode instead of rest mode, right? One, I don't really mind this deck not having check lands because want to, like, charging these in rest mode is not too big of a deal because you play Whis, you play Dimension Magic, and you play Rhoda, which all 3 of these will untap, and really all 4 of these will untap on either turn. And I think that's, well, these guys on their turn and these guys on either turn, but you see what I'm saying. Like, if you place it in rest mode, yes, that's an energy they're not gonna be able to use, but at the same time, you're most likely only gonna have certain things in your hand to use for other things. So for example, if you have an Android 18 in your hand, that's cool, that's fine, but if you don't have a Supreme Technique Goku, you're probably not going to be able to utilize this as at the maximum level. When you have this in your hand and no other multicolors in your hand or anything else to charge, you're probably going to be able to, you're probably want to charge this first in order to get to that 2 green specified cost, because that's the biggest weakness for this card. Otherwise, it is a barrier threat. It is something that they have to neg every single turn. And then for Revive, it's the same thing. Since it is a Saiyan, you get to untap 1, draw 1. You get this guy back with barrier in active mode, and you get to pitch one of your multicolors that you don't need. So again, Supreme Technique Goku, if you know the sequencing, if you understand what I'm trying to say here, is that if you don't have Android 18, then it's going to be perfect for pitching for these 2 or to charge, right? So that's kind of the mindset that I have when not having Tech Lens, and you just got to be really careful, and it just really takes practice for that. Now, if you want to go ahead and put in, the Android 17s, I would recommend to take out the Whis Coercion, because the Whis Coercion is to untap a blue energy, in which if you just have a regular blue energy, but you have the other one, like the blue-green tapped, then you got to go ahead and just untap the blue-green whenever you need to, which in this deck, honestly, you don't really need to, because all you really need is blue energy, but that's okay. I think that's okay. But what was I going with this? So with Whis over here, untapping any of the energy, that's okay. It can be blue-green, it can be anything. With Dimension Magic, you can take life at any time if you have Sparking 5, which in this deck I feel like you're going to get to that point probably around turn 3. So if you need to take life, you can. If not, that's okay. You can still untap any of these energy. And then Dr. Rhoda is really, really good as a turn 1 play. So that way you can awaken early. You can be a 15k leader swinging. And now pretty much anything else that you have on the board will untap 1 and draw 1 instead of just having you awaken. Dr. Rhoda says you pay 1, it's a blocker, and then when it gets KO'd, which you're going to block and to get it KO'd, you untap 1 of your blue energy, which can be one of these guys here. And then Senzu Bean's really good just for extension of plays when it comes to playing multiple of these guys with Android 18 on their turn, or you can go ahead and boost this guy to get a 20k, and that way our tech option over here, the Piccolo, if you have a green Goku with energy cost power, 20k power in play, you get to play this for free. And his activate main is that you choose one of those 20k power Gokus, whether it's the rival blocker, which again, one of the reasons why I have this guy is that when you block, you get to go ahead and use the Gogeta unison effect, and as well as use the leader effect if they kill it off. So they have to make that decision, and you have to make that decision of what's more important. But with this guy, if you have the rival out, and then you pop it, or if you have a beamed up Kaioken, then you get to pop that, and then you get to either pop one of their battle cards or a 2 or less ignoring barrier, and they get to pitch 2. So that not only plays with the Android 18, but also the Son Goku or Son Gohan and Piccolo, but overall just kind of plays them with each other, and it's just sort of just all about sequencing, right? Now, the other thing is that this deck, other than the unison and the leader effect, kind of lacked a finisher. And I think with all of the pitching, I think the Dark Banisher is really good for this deck, because later on, again, you're gonna have quite a big of a drop, and paying for and making them warp 1 for every skill that they have, whether it's negates, rival, super combos, things like that, is gonna play really well after you have a Vegeta on board. You have a Kaioken on board after rivaling. You have multiple of these guys on board, which I did in the gameplay video. Multiple of these guys, 20k swinging at them, and then you also have Vegeta, etc., trying to go for game all together, right? Now, that's really good. You only play a 1 of. You can probably play 2 if you want to, but I think it's probably not needed. You'll see it when you need to see it, I feel like. And then the one drop Gohan basically searches up a green or blue Goku or Piccolo, which is going to be this guy. It's going to be this guy. It's going to be this guy. It's going to be this guy. So really all the targets that you need to, and it's pretty much a perfect target for the Gogeta Unison to tap down to get a marker, right? So it's going to be this guy to be a tap down target. It's going to be this guy as well. You don't really want to tap this guy down because it's a blocker. If you're going against yellow, it is really annoying for them to tap it down. But if they KO it, then they KO it and you get something out of it, which is untap and draw one. But overall, pretty cool. I think this guy probably needs a little bit more targets, but this guy and as well as this guy are the best targets for it. You don't really want to play this guy because you want the auto play effect. Overall, this deck requires a little bit of thinking, a little bit of comboing, a little bit of having the right cards in your hand, so that way, like the mulligan and as well as understanding what you need to do like after you do the mulligan is really important. So that's all I can really say. Any questions, definitely leave in the comments below. Now, the cards to actually upgrade the deck kind of vary. So I would think the first thing is to probably get a secret as another win con. This guy with the Android 18 is really good. They bottom deck one, and then you get to either return one from their barrier or ignoring barrier on their turn, or on your turn. Now you have a triple strike or double strike critical triple attacker 40k that can go for game, which is usually going to be the case doing this for 5 energy. And of course, he is a blue Saiyan, so if they KO it somehow or remove it next turn, then there you go. You have a 4-cost ultimate basically, because on their turn you'll untap one. Now the biggest thing or the biggest decision is probably to understand if you want to go mono blue or keep going mono blue, which I recommend. I feel like, or if you want to go blue yellow. I feel like the ceiling is probably blue yellow with some of this stuff up here. The highest ceiling, I should say, at the highest level, because of the Goku and Hit Supreme Alliance, in which you rival this guy for blue, and then you activate battle. If you energy or if you lead a card as blue, you switch to active mode. So basically, it's 2 blocks. Like you get to block. If you save it, you get to activate battle, and then you untap it, and then you get to block again, basically, because it's not once per turn. And then on your turn, you get to have basically a swing and then a protection of a blocker, and it's just really good. I feel like that's really good. And then of course you get to play Frost Deadly Poison. I don't think it's super relevant, but I think it's a card that people should kind of understand that it's there. It's a Cold Bloodless, untap 1 if you're 3 or less, and then of course a draw 1. And then the Vegeta Energy Salvo, you'll probably have to play around this, but I think things like interactions where you have the 1-drop Gohan, if you're still playing that, or probably wouldn't do that one, but the 1-drop Gohan, the 1-drop Vegeta, or any other the 2 costs or less, which just says blue or yellow multicolor in your energy. Choose up to 1 blue or yellow battle card with energy costs 3 or less, and place in your own drop area, and then play this card from your hand and draw 1 card. So if you have any of those things that you tap down with the Gogeta effect, the Unison, you get to then use that with Vegeta Energy Salvo during the battle or activate battle. You draw a card, and now you have a blue Saiyan that can block and also, get KO'd, untap 1, draw 1. So I think these 3 cards are super essential in the blue yellow form or blue yellow version of it. And then you also add some of this stuff in which the Super Saiyan Blue Trunks, the God Sealing technique, basically says no and returns literally everything in the game. So if you basically say, it says you discard from this hand, and the battle card being played gets placed in the owner's hand or returns back to the owner's hand if you don't play this card, basically. So you're either gonna have a 15k attacker, which you really need, or you have a free counterplay in which they just don't get to plan or play. So anything with the deflect, or without deflect, I should say, is affected by this and is super important. This is why mono blue is somewhat strong in this format. And then Final Hope Slash is pretty good. You get to have a free untap 1 for mono blue, and then you get to return 15k or less, ignoring barrier. I think that's just pretty strong. I think that's something to take in consideration. And then this guy is a 15k free card on their turn. Basically, if you just untap one, as long as all your energy is blue. Doesn't matter if it's blue yellow or blue green. It just has to be all blue. And then you get to draw one if you're going offensive. And then Booty is just probably one of my most hated cards ever, but it's really good, and that's why I hate it. For 4 costs, you deflect, so you get to untap one if they reveal their top card being a battle card, and then you have 3 different attacks for 15k and combo power. So even if they topo or something, you get to have those 3 cards, basically 15k combo power to your disposal. You just gotta be careful with Dormant Unleash, in which it pops all your tokens. So there you go. And then we also have the 4-drop Ultra Instinct Son Goku, stuff that is negating effects like Sin Shenron and things like that. And just ultimates in general. I feel like ultimates in general, people are forgetting about this card on 4 energy. And I feel like this card, being a Blue Saiyan, yet again, and being able to counterattack and counterplay and return pretty much anything from their board. And then you also get the draw card. I think that's still pretty dang strong, and I think it's perfect for the Vegito leader. And then also hit, same thing. You pay 3 basically on their turn, and then you get to return 2 cards. 1 not being played, 5 or less, and then another 5 or less on their field. So overall, pretty cool. I think this video is actually a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I went way too in depth with it, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think what I'm going to do is put in the description below the gameplay that I'll probably commentate over, or I'll just put out, depending if it's a live stream or not. You'll see it as soon as you click it. And then yeah, those who are interested can go ahead and do that. If you have any questions or any suggestions for this deck, again, is $60 or less. I think it is a little bit different from every other deck because it is $60 or less, and I'm a little capped on that, but I like a challenge, and I think this is something that does work overall pretty well. But subscribe if you're new, like, dislike, check out the merch in the description below, join the Discord, support your boy. If you want to buy this deck, the TCG link is in the description below as well if you want to pick up any of the cards. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one.